I've always loved animals since I was a small child. I'm fascinated by life. I love sentient life. I place a large value on it. Sentient brains such as mine create values. Sentient brains value sentient life. That's how it works, I suppose. But looking at the human species as a whole, looking at our track record, would you say we were a species that held sentient life in high regard? No. No, we kill for fun. We drive other species into extinction. We are the cause of immense suffering on this planet. We kill and we hold our fellow living beings in captivity. If you've never visited or worked in an abattoir before, don't. I seriously wouldn't recommend it. Not a pleasant experience. And some of the factory farming that goes on in this part of the world and elsewhere can only really be described as disgusting. It doesn't shock me, though. It saddens me, but it doesn't shock me. I know what humans are capable of. You know, we have all this intelligence, we have the power to relieve so much of the suffering that goes on in this world, but instead we continue to brutally stamp our authority all over the faces of our fellow animals. And that's what we are, really, animals. There's no strict divide between people and animals. When I say animal, I mean non-human animal. Now, I'm an animal welfare supporter, but not an animal rights supporter. I think, morally speaking, humans have a responsibility, because of our intelligence, to make a huge effort to reduce the total amount of suffering on this planet. There is far too much exploitation going on. As a species, we are cruel. That's my opinion. This has got to change. Animal rights supporters say that it's morally wrong to exploit an animal in any way. I don't believe that to be true. There are no absolute truths, of course. There are exceptions. It can be morally acceptable for humans to use or exploit non-human animals. However, whenever people do use or exploit our fellow animals, we have to think about their welfare first and foremost. We have to be looking to reduce or eliminate suffering. I became a vegetarian earlier this year, maybe more so for health reasons than for moral reasons, if I'm being honest. I feel good. I feel more healthy. The temptation to go back to eating meat is still there, but I'm determined to stick to this commitment that I've made. Yeah. People don't need to eat meat. They can get everything they need. All the proteins, vitamins, minerals and such, without consuming flesh. I don't think it's morally wrong to eat meat, not necessarily anyway. And I'm not going to preach to people about the virtues of vegetarianism. It's not always easy, but I try not to judge people on the grounds of their lifestyle choices. I don't think the way I live makes me superior. I'm not looking down at anyone, I'm down here too. My consumer habits have helped to perpetuate cycles of exploitation and cruelty. I'm aware of that. But I'm looking to rectify this. So what about animal experimentation, experiments on animals? Let's face the truth. The knowledge the human race has, scientific and medical knowledge, a lot of it was acquired unethically. In the absence of a lot of pain, suffering and death, we couldn't know what we now know. A lot of folks are walking around oblivious to this truth. But I ask, is there really any further need for animal experiments, research on animals? Science and technology has moved faster than research protocols. We now know the chemical properties of most substances, and we have powerful computers now, really sophisticated stuff, which allows us to predict the outcome of chemical interactions. We can, of course, experiment on live tissue samples with no animals required. And we can use human leftovers from operations. So, there are plenty of research options. Is there really an excuse for experimenting on animals the way we do anymore? Tens of millions of animals are killed each and every year at the conclusion of being experimented on. Sad but true. A lot of people, they look at animals and they don't see sentient beings. They see objects. Yeah. Things to be used or consumed. Things without emotions. I was watching a video of one of the people I subscribe to here on YouTube the other day. At the conclusion of his speech, he said something like, people will one day look back at our time, look back at the way we treated animals, and view it as some kind of dark age. An age of ignorance, if you like. Well, you know what? I hope he is right. I hope he's right. But something tells me that he isn't. I don't see much evidence that human beings are going to change their ways and become a grand benevolent species, if you like, kind to all the animals of the world, using our intelligence in a positive way. I can't see it, really. But I do hope I'm wrong. See you later, folks. Take care.